All Hallows Eve, the evening all your nightmares come to life. All the creatures of the night come out to play. It's time to pay tribute to this terrifying month. So join us as we celebrate the sinister season. This is the Venomonth of Horrors. The reboot.
Se7en is a psychological thriller about a serial killer named John Doe who believes he is doing the Lord's work by murdering those guilty of the 7 deadly sins, while soon-to-retire Detective Somerset, played by Morgan Freeman, and his partner Mills, played by Brad Pitt, try desperately to solve the case. The movie came to life when screenwriter Andrew Kevin Walker was living in New York City. He hated the experience but admitted that if it wasn't for that, he probably would not have written this film. It was offered to Guillermo del Toro to direct, but he turned it down, finding the subject matter far too dark. You have seen your movies, right?
I don't follow.
There's a famous twist at the end that was actually rejected by the studio, so it had to be rewritten to be more traditional and, boring. But when David Fincher was approached to direct, he was accidentally sent the original ending instead, and he agreed to do the job. Now this was quite the achievement, because Fincher had an awful experience making Alien 3 years prior and actually said, "I thought I'd rather die of colon cancer than do another movie."
Who gives a fuck?
Once Brad Pitt was signed on to star, he actually refused to do the film if they changed the ending. So the studio agreed that they would only keep it if Fincher stayed as director. The likes of Denzel Washington, Nicolas Cage, Kevin Costner, Christina Applegate, Gene Hackman, Robert Duvall, Val Kilmer, Sylvester Stallone and Al Pacino all turned down roles in the film. Denzel and Stallone in particular both regretted it, and it's easy to see why. The movie was a massive success and critically acclaimed the world over, before unintentionally inspiring a much gorier, less loved franchise years later.
I understand that.
The movie does have a very cool cinematic style. It's dark and gloomy with a bluey-green tint to it, and it fits the tone of the film. The cast pointed out that it isn't until the serial killer is actually revealed when the sun finally comes out, but David Fincher admitted this was just a mistake, and if he could have found a way to completely coat the climax scene with rain, he would have done so. Seriously, the entire movie is in rain. It looks like it was filmed in the UK. It's quite unique to have this style of cinematography, even when they're discussing a crime scene. And the musical score by Howard Shore, who is always amazing, really complements it well. It's such a creepy film. It even works for the chase scenes. The music is great and it just remains consistently chilling for the entire movie with really creative camera movements. It's brilliant. Sometimes it is a little tricky to see what's going on, but it doesn't happen too often for it to be overwhelmingly distracting. But hey, it turns out the first murder scene takes place in Eminem's house. That's nice. Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman do have great chemistry together, and this movie has an amazing talent for somehow making Brad Pitt look like a complete loser. For the most part, it looks like Morgan Freeman is just a cool guy and he's just having to drag along his annoying little brother the entire time.
You've seen my files, right? You've seen the things I've done.
Nope.
Hey man, I'm right here. You can say that shit to my face, Captain.
It's too soon for you.
Captain, if we could just talk in private. Obviously, this isn't working. It's a personal thing. Maybe it'd be better.
Shut up, Mills.
The idea of the killer is pretty cool. He's not just a murderer, but he takes great pleasure in it.
You want somebody dead, you drive by and shoot him. You don't risk the time it takes to do this.
We later find out that he believes he's doing it in the Lord's name, but clearly he's having a blast. He tortures these guys for quite a while. It also turns out that Brad Pitt is married to Gwyneth Paltrow. Damn, they're gonna have some great looking kids. Imagine their genes. Anyway, she decides to randomly call up Somerset and invite him to dinner. Never met him before, but sure, why not? And tell me this doesn't look like she's trying to seduce the poor man.
Why aren't you married, William?
Dude, your husband is right there! Control yourself, woman! I'll give the film this. It's very good at keeping you guessing. It tricked my ass. To me, it looked an awful lot like they were building up to one of them dying. Probably Somerset.
You ever take a bullet?
Never in my 34 years.
Riding in that ambulance. Well, you died right there.
Yeah.
Then Paltrow randomly calls him at night to meet up without her husband's knowledge. Yeah, pretty sure this violates the bro code. But she lets him know that she is pregnant but is scared as she's unhappy in her marriage and current living situation. Basically, Brad Pitt forced them to relocate, and this is actually never explained why. We don't know why she's unhappy. We don't know why they moved there. We assume she's unhappy in the marriage. She just says she hates the city. And she decides to tell all of this to a complete stranger and not her husband.
All right, I'm confused.
I mean, I'd understand if Brad Pitt was portrayed as a douchebag. I guess he kind of is at the start, but that's it. Why exactly can't she talk to him? But then she vanishes into the abyss except for one tiny scene right before the climax, so it's pretty obvious that she is going to die. Sorry, movie. You are almost unpredictable. Although I expected it to be the sin of lust, and it isn't, but shut up, it still counts.
That is ridiculous to the point of being offensive.
They even find one of the victims is still alive after being tied down and tortured for an entire year. Jesus Christ, it's demented. And I love it. It's an interesting angle because the victim was also a criminal, but where exactly do you draw the line? Did he deserve this much abuse and pain? It's a nice way to take it and make you think. And hey, credit to them for having a weird sex death scene and still taking it seriously. The actors deserve all the awards for being able to deliver lines like this with a straight face.
He put that thing on me. And he made me wear it.
And then the John Doe hands himself in, and it's Kevin Spacey. Yeah, this aged well. They actually decided to do no publicity for Spacey being in the film. He wasn't announced beforehand, he's not in the opening credits, so it is a nice surprise. Unless you're under the age of 16. Although if you pay attention and pause, he does actually appear earlier on in the movie. Look, there he is!
I'd like to speak to my lawyer, please.
As long as it's not Amber Heard's, I'm sure you'll be fine. And it goes without saying, Kevin Spacey plays creepy really well. He nails this role.
Wanting people to listen, you can't just tap them on the shoulder anymore. You have to hit them with a sledgehammer. And then you'll notice you've got their strict attention. Allowing 5 innocent people to die until you felt like springing your trap? Tell me, what was the indisputable evidence you were going to use on me right before I walked up to you and put my hands in the air?
John.
So, I took a souvenir. Her pretty head. And after him, I picked the lawyer, and you both must have secretly been thanking me for that one. This is a man who dedicated his life to making money by lying.
I mean, one was just fat. You're really comparing him to murderers and rapists? In fact, how do you even know about him? You make it pretty clear that he never left the house.
If you were chosen, that is, by a higher power, if your hand was forced, it seems strange to me that you would get such enjoyment out of it. You enjoyed torturing those people. This doesn't seem in keeping with martyrdom, does it?
I doubt I enjoyed it any more than Detective Mills would enjoy time alone with me in a room without windows.
He's too old for you, Kev. Admittedly, Spacey is also quite funny.
What do you got?
Dead dog.
I didn't do that.
And so is Brad Pitt.
Do you know that you're insane? Maybe you're just sitting around reading Guns and Ammo, masturbating in your own feces. Do you just stop and go, wow, it is amazing how fucking crazy I really am?
Sometimes.
You're no messiah. You're a movie of the week. You're a fucking t-shirt at best.
Oh, burn. So Spacey claims there are 2 more bodies, but he'll only take our heroes there on a condition that he'll plead guilty. The movie does a great job keeping you guessing. You have no idea where the hell it's going to go, except that Gwyneth Paltrow is going to die. It has one of the best third acts I have ever seen. It is so well paced you'll be on the edge of your seat to find out what the hell happens. David Arquette's brother, no, it's really him, look it up, shows up to deliver a package, and they call in the bomb squad, but Somerset, for some reason, decides to open it. And what a shock, it's Gwyneth Paltrow's head. This whole sequence is amazing. The acting, the direction. Spacey isn't afraid to die and antagonizes him. It's phenomenal. Somerset begs Mills to kill him, but he eventually does it anyway, making Spacey the 7th sin, which admittedly I didn't see coming. Originally, Morgan Freeman wanted him to step in and kill him for his partner to spare him taking a life as he's young, but it was changed as he'd need to avenge his wife. But honestly, I think I prefer Freeman's way a lot more. I just think it makes Brad Pitt look a lot better, and Freeman's job as a cop is pretty much done. I would have liked to see him do it for him instead. The movie is incredible. David Fincher really shines here. There's never a dull moment. Even the opening credits are some of the best opening credits I have ever seen. The acting performances are perfect, the writing is on point, there's so many twists and turns you'll get whiplash, and Se7en is most definitely one to be added to your watch list.